Alright guys, so I put together a small Tesla ad kind of video and thought I'd talk a wee bit about it. This is mostly miniature work mixed in with a small bit of live action with 2D compositing, so let's get started. So for the props I had the Tesla miniature itself, a fence for some of the shots, the ground, which was basically just a wooden board painted grey, and that would serve to be the ground for all of the shots that the Tesla was in, and some black sand and some miniature rocks for some of the external scenes. So for shooting I just used the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. For the shots in blackness it was just the Tesla sitting on the painted wooden board painted grey with just a black sheet in the background, and because it was very dark lighting I was able to get away with that. You can't really see anything in the background. This just makes it look like it's in like some kind of hangar or something like that. I just used an LED sort of strip light and just moved that around the Tesla. This just gave interesting lighting effects which looked good in the video. For shots when the car was moving, I just put the Tesla on top of a treadmill. The thing is, a lot of toy cars, when you put them on treadmills and you turn the treadmill on, they actually maintain their rough position on the treadmill. They don't go flying off the back. Unfortunately, this Tesla model did go flying off the back, so I did just have to attach a piece of string to the Tesla and have that attached to the front of the treadmill and just weighed down, and I'd remove the strings later on. And for the lighting for that, I just waved the LED strip over the Tesla just to indicate some kind of motion was going on, and it worked well enough. So for the shots where the Tesla was outside or in a different kind of location, I decided not to use a green screen because the Tesla's quite reflective, and whenever any part of the Tesla would reflect, it would just reflect the green screen behind it, and that would just get keyed out and that wouldn't work very well. So I did decide to set up a TV behind the Tesla. This is sort of like a mini virtual production. Now of course there's no parallax work going on, so when the camera moves, the TV's background doesn't really move accordingly like you'd see in Mandalorian or something like that. It is just a picture behind the car, but if you kind of move slow enough or the camera's not moving at all, you won't really notice. I did end up using 3 monitors, just one behind it and 2 in front, just to try and get the lighting the same. Although, looking back at it, I probably just needed the one monitor behind the Tesla model and just use lights at the front, and that would work good enough. Obviously, one thing you need to worry about when you're shooting miniatures is you need to keep the f-stop very high to try and get as deep a depth of field as you possibly can. The problem with this is you let a lot less light into your camera, which makes the scene a lot darker. Normally you would just bring up the light levels, you just get brighter and brighter lights, but because I'm wanting the TV to be essentially the brightest thing in the scene, you know, the monitor needs to be really quite bright in order to cast all these different lights and reflections on the Tesla, and I can't make the TV any brighter. I did have to put my camera's ISO quite high, but I would later use some denoising software to help that. So for the shots when I was in the Tesla itself, that was just one shot of me just on a green screen. I made sure I painted a green board, and this would serve to be the door of the car that my arm could go over. Obviously the shot of the Tesla that I'm supposed to be in is moving, and the perspective on the Tesla itself changes, and the perspective on me doesn't actually change, but I am far away enough and it's subtle enough that you don't really notice that. So for editing this I used Premiere Pro and After Effects. Most of it was done in Premiere Pro, although some of the shots were done in After Effects for adding in the Tesla's lights. Now the Tesla itself did actually light up just a wee bit, but it is really quite dim compared to anything else in the scene, so I did just enhance that. And that was just a simple mask around the headlights of the Tesla, and they were just keyframed accordingly. And I did clean up the images with the denoising plugin. This wasn't a free plugin, but you can look around for different kinds of plugins for this kind of stuff. And for the shots of me inside the Tesla, I did just keep myself out, match myself up against the Tesla model, did a mask around the Tesla window so the window beams of the car would actually come over me at different points, and I just tracked myself into the scene for the movement, and it looked pretty decent. And that's that. That's just a small breakdown of how I did a little Tesla ad. Hope you found it useful, hope you found it interesting, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.